Back at Moby Arena on the Front Range in Colorado. Utah State leading Colorado State 45-39 as we open up the second half. This season promises to be exciting, maybe as balanced a year in the Mountain West as in recent memory. And speaking of that, look at what's happening at the pit right now. Wyoming giving the Lobos everything they want. You and I were talking before the game with a group of guys here, and I said usually 5-6 games into the regular season, the conference season, and I've been covering this league, or the league that was before this league, for 27 years. I can't think of very many years where I couldn't tell you that one of two teams that were going to win the conference championship by then. You better not sleep on right the Spartans. Now. Yeah, it could be one of those teams. It could be anyone right now. This league is so balanced this year, which makes for fun games every week. And Coach Eustace just wants them progressing, making improvement week by week. By the time that Mountain West Conference tournament rolls around, he thinks they could be pretty good, but he likes this bunch. Maybe doesn't like what he's seen in the first half so far, but here's the upcoming schedule. If they can get a win here, it's pretty favorable before they have to take a trip to Southern California. Yeah, and both of these teams started with difficult schedules right out of the chute in conference against some of the top teams, and that's a tough thing. Colorado State had to play at Boise State. Boise State's really good this year, and for Utah State, Tim Duryea, he doesn't have exactly what he thought he would have. You get a guy named David Collette, who's supposed to be the centerpiece of your offense, who just opts out right before practice starts to start the year, and they had a brutal start to their schedule, and it doesn't get any easier. But you think about having to play San Diego State, Boise State, and then at New Mexico, boom, 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 right out of the chutes in conference play. Now, we're going to see him against the Runner Rebels on Tuesday at the D. Glenn Smith Spectrum. And UNLV, maybe they turn the corner with the coaching change now. They have so much talent, and they're a fun team to watch when they're on. UNLV is a team that, before it's all said and done, could either win the regular season championship if they get on a roll, or they become a very dangerous team in the tournament. How about the Mountain West tournament this year? How fun is that going to be? Because there's going to be favorites going in, but our dark horse could absolutely win that tournament this year. It's what you want if you're a fan of Mountain West basketball. It's been a fun year as we open up the second 20 minutes here. Utah State leading by 6. Quinn Taylor getting the start again. Perkins' jumper is good, just inside the arc, and a good start. The senior from Fort Myers, Florida, who was quiet in the first half with a bucket. It's his first points of the game. 3 from Gillen. Back iron. Amagbo, the offensive rebound. Leans in, and he draws the foul. Utah State winning the battle of the boards. It's not often you'll see that against Colorado State. They're plus 5.5 on the glass this season. And Amagbo getting him off to a good start, rebounding the basketball. One of the great rebounders in Colorado State history is working as an assistant, helping out this year, and that's Pierce Hornung on that bench for Larry Eustace. And there were games that I called when Pierce Hornung was on the floor where I just thought, is anybody else going to get a rebound in this game? He was incredible, and not a big guy. He just understood position, and his want to was like none other. I seem to remember some 15 and 20 games. Oh, yeah, just craziness. Perry for 3, and he drills it from the right wing. So the barrage continues for Utah State. Great shooting. And there's a turnover. A careless error that time in transition. Gillen throws it away. Perkins for 3. Off the mark. Chris Smith, the offensive rebound, but he has it stripped by Amagbo. Utah State up 10 now. Scott on the drive, and he's hammered. And bodies hit the floor as Moore and Scott collide. Antoine Scott doing a good job in transition that time of being on attack and taking it right to Jalen Moore. It's 2 on Jalen Moore. And there's Pierce Hornung that we were talking about, the coach on the left. Yeah, I think he could teach and talk to these guys a little bit about how to get a board, huh? The art of rebounding. Oh, he is so good at it. And a guy that could talk to these guys about intensity and coming up with big plays that aren't necessarily scoring plays when your team needs it. Yeah, I'd love having that guy on my bench if I was a coach. I think he's a great mentor for these young players. Scott with 19 after hitting a couple free throws. Just underway, second half. Utah State, an inspired first half, shooting the basketball at 49%. Smith over to Perkins. 3 from the right wing. That's short. Amagbo the rebound.
Well, Perkins comes out firing here in the second half. And
Scott to step through, in and out. Amagbo.
Well, I love the energy from Amagbo here in the second half. He's been active and getting after it.
6 points and 5 rebounds for the junior. They've done a better job on the boards. It had to be a point of emphasis at halftime.
I don't even want to think about what Larry Stacey had to say about getting out rebounded in that locker room.
Jalen Moore misses, and there's another rebound. Gillen has it, almost turned it over.
Yeah, Larry has zero patience for not winning the rebounding battle. Zero.
I think some paint probably came off the board there as Amagbo misses. Here comes Smith the other way, stepping through, and he's fouled. Let's see who they get here. I think it's Gillen on the block.
And for Chris Smith, he's able to create the contact there, but as he was going down in transition, it was Chris Smith all by himself against 3.5 defenders because there was a guy on his hip. And that probably would have been a wise choice to bring that out and set something up offensively. He's fortunate and he ends up getting fouled, and he's getting to the line on this.
And they actually gave that personal to Scott, his second. Look at this game for Smith. A breakthrough effort here on the road. And he's thinking possibly career numbers. He had 25 against BYU a year ago. He has 21.
I don't think I called that game. I remember that game, and it looked a lot like this one.
And there's Nixon attacking. And the lead is 6. Moore thought about it. Perry will try it. He's fouled, and 3 free throws coming, and Amagbo with a mistake right there. Long arms at 6'8". And Perry will have 3 free throws coming.
Perry, a 71% free throw shooter this season, been very solid from the line. As soon as I say that, he launches one that's not even close.
Clearly their 6th man, though, this year, and he's always brought it on the defensive end. Great defender. Starting to score the ball a little bit more now. It's the roll on that one.
Well, he's another guy that could shoot. He's a returning starter from last year. And, you know, Tim Dury's had to kind of mess around with the starting lineup, decide who's going to and who's not, just get that right chemistry and the right group coming off the bench. I think he's got it now, but he started the first 5 this year and has been coming off the bench. And he's a guy that made 36 threes last year, so he's a weapon.
14 for Perry, and the lead is 8. 3 in double figures now for the Aggies. Deciman against Smith, going to back him down with that 6'6" frame. Off-balance shot goes. That's not an easy shot for the senior.
Beautiful shot. That floater, one-handed, great touch.
And now a foul called. This is Scott. This is number 3.
And that would be a big blow.
It is his 3rd.
So now Larry Stacey's got a decision to make. Can he take the guy that's really been the leader out there and is the scoring punch out there off the floor with 3 fouls, or does he just trust him to play smart as a redshirt senior?
You got the media timeout coming up. Here's Perry on the drive. Misses. Deciman has the rebound.
And Antoine Scott just tried to take a charge. That scared me.
Scott for 3. Got it.
That's why you don't want to take him out of the game right there. But down to that, I'm like, dude, don't try to take a charge and leave it up to the officials. Get out of the way, for Pete's sakes. Play solid defense. Don't reach.
22 points. Scott has hit 5 of 6 threes in this one. Here's Perry from the corner. Air ball. And nice save there by the Rams. Here comes Scott the other way. Baseline drive. And missing the lane is Amagbo.
Well, that's when you've got to finish. J.D. Page was there to try to defend it, but that was one that should have been made.
Perkins can't convert up tempo here, and the Rams finally going to slow this thing down. .44% shooting for Colorado State. They've been more active on the glass. Here's Deciman. Misses on the 3. Daniels another offensive rebound. Scott got another one. No time.
He is out of his mind right now. That one was deep. And he had a defender right up on him. Perry was right there. And he just said, let me do a little heat check. I'm gonna shoot one right over the top of the defender and see how I'm feeling about it.
6 of 7 from distance. He has 25. Smith baseline drive and a charge. And that would have been number 4, but it goes the other way. Scott was there. And they're alive here at Moby Arena thanks to Antoine Scott, the 6-year senior from Wiley, Texas, feeling it. 25 to lead the way, an 8-0 run for the Rams over the last 2 minutes. We're tied. Utah State has missed their last 6 shots from the field, and the Rams have drawn even here at 54. Antoine Scott with 25, 2 away from his career high. It's a guy that has been to Ranger Junior College, Idaho, Grambling, and now a graduate student at Colorado State, playing his best basketball in the conference season.
He's been incredible. Look at that line. 8 of 11 from the field, 6 of 7 from 3. And his last 3 was right in the face of a defender, just rose up and knocked it down. He's really feeling it right now. But he's making me nervous with those 3 fouls out there, playing aggressive defense. I guess you can't take him out of his game, but man, they need him out there for his offensive skills right now.
Here's Deciman from the corner. Barely draws iron with that one, and Jalen Moore, the rebound. Scott staying out there with those 3 fouls. Took a charge before that last timeout. Taylor backing in against Daniels, and a bumping foul called on number 15, the 5th-year senior.
It was funny because the fans were like, oh, and Daniel's like, yeah, it was my fault. I guessed. I thought he was going to go and turn inside, and then I had to jump and put 2 forearms on. Like, he admitted it right off the bat.
It's his first. They go inside again. Smith, little double clutch, can't get it to fall. Tip won't go by Smith. And Scott has it for the Rams. It's been the biggest difference on Smith. It's not just been his shooting, he's been active inside. Rams a chance to grab the lead here. They trail by double figures at one point. Amagbo can't get it. Rector, Taylor couldn't get his feet set. Tough place to catch it. Nixon from the corner. And another offensive rebound.
Boy, how active.
And wide open, Daniels for the finish, and Colorado State's in front.
Second chance opportunities. They should give Amagbo the points on that one because he hustled and got the ball back.
And there's the answer from Perry from the corner. 8 of 17 three-pointers for Utah State. They're back in front. And a timeout, Colorado State. Colorado State with a great start to this second half. They've done a better job on the glass, but the Aggies still with 8 threes and the lead on the road. Utah State with a 1-point advantage here, second half at Moby Arena. There's been some adversity for this Rams program. A guy that could have been an all-conference player this season is on the bench and not in action for Larry Eustace. Gian Clavel out for the season. Broken bone left hand 2 days prior to the Kansas State game. Then successful torn labrum surgery. You see the sling, eligible to pursue a medical redshirt. The good news is that they expect him to get that year, and he's been a great coach on the bench. Players listening to another player as opposed to listening to a coach gives him a different perspective.
And look at what he meant to this offense. And Larry Stacey, when we were talking about him before the season, was talking about how good they were going to be offensively. Part of it was because of this guy. 20.8 points a game before he got injured, and shooting in the 40s both from 3 and from the field. So if he gets that medical red shirt and you add him to this already formidable shooting force, now they'll lose Antoine Scott, but those 2 freshmen are pretty darn good.
Here is Scott for Richardson. Good pump fake there. Scott knifing in, floater off the mark. Battle for the loose ball. Daniels and Rector had it, lost it, and Evans finally grabs it for the Aggies. Scrappy play on both ends. Perry gets the lay in.
Good looking take by Perry that time. Didn't settle for the jump shot. Attacked after the ball fake. Well, have you noticed, Trey, a noticeable difference in effort from the Rams on the glass and for loose balls? I'm willing to bet that Larry Stacey just went off in the locker room about that. He cannot stand to lose that battle, and they've been really hustling here in the second half in that area.
Yeah, sense of urgency from Colorado State. That's 19 now for Perry after that last bucket. That's a season high for him. Shot clock at 5 for Richardson. Cross court, Scott, why not? Another three. Not there this time, and Smith the rebound.
His threes, he's been squared up every time, even when there's been a defender in his face. That time he was drifting and fading away at the end of the shot clock. That's a tough one to make for anybody.
Jalen Moore, short. Smith has it, lays it in. Chris Smith so active, 23 now, and he has 9 rebounds.
And I love how he keeps going after relentlessly the offensive glass. Those 9 rebounds are great, but on offensive glass, he's been even more surprising.
And there's a better guesstimate off the feed from Daniels. They haven't gotten a lot of that near the rim, and they get a bucket to draw within 3. 10 points for Deciman.
Every conference game that the Rams have played in the season has been a ball game right down to the last minute. It's come down to the last minute of the game, and you know what? We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again.
Most likely. Yeah, their previous 4 decided by 13 points total. Rector, good feed, Evans, and the little pause there by the point guard was effective in setting that play up.
Really good two-man game, came off of the screen, pick and roll. You're right, he hesitated just enough to get in the basketball. That was very well executed.
And now another timeout called by Larry Eustace. You see points in the paint. Colorado State has done a better job after getting dominated in that area in the first half. Still trailing, though, by 5. Larry Eustace's team so good on the home floor, getting a test for the visitors from Logan, Utah. Utah State leading by 5. You'd be hard-pressed to find a guy that emphasizes toughness more than this guy, Larry Eustace. His team has really battled on the glass here in the second half, but they've run into a hot shooting team in Utah State here at home.
Well, he was just getting after it in that last timeout. It was a called timeout, and he decided he didn't want to wait for the next whistle and a TV timeout. He had 3 guys sitting at the scorer's table he wanted to get in. He lit into them.
Here's J.D. Page, the redshirt freshman, missing from just inside the arc with that one.
Excellent blockouts that time by all 4 interior guys for Utah State.
Evans has range, and he drills a 3. You can't leave him alone. He's hit 11 threes this year. He's got some range for a big man.
And he gets it as the trailer. That's when he's really good. Coming as the trailer, squared up to the basket.
And Jackson is stripped, and they turn it over.
A great play by Chris Smith to help out there because he got there late, but his quick hands allowed him to get that one away.
Well, what would a win mean for Tim Duryea's club on the road here with UNLV coming up on Tuesday? They'd even their conference mark. They have played spectacular basketball. Smith's 3 is off the mark. On rebound to Moore, nobody there.
That's just good luck right there because they had inside position. That was such a bad shot that it was a long rebound.
And there's a good take by Shane Rector as the freshman lays it in, and they've extended it back to double digits. Richardson from the corner, in and out. Contact inside, and a foul on Utah State. Jalen Moore.
It's going to be Jalen Moore's 3rd foul. Then if it goes on Moore.
4th team foul. So Evans and Moore with 3 apiece now. The energy's been there for the Rams. The shots have been falling, though. Gillen from the corner got that one to go from the baseline.
Good shot that time by Gillen. Off the dribble, will fade away. Redshirt junior averaging 12 a game.
He has 7, and the lead is 8. Evans again, same spot, same results straight away. The Tulsa transfer up and down season this year. When he's on, he's been really good. Gillen for 3, and he delivers for the Rams.
Evans and Gillen now battling. We have different battles in this game. I didn't think it was going to be an Evans and Gillen battle down the stretch.
Look at the bench points. Evans has scored 10 of those 33. Moore, little runner, short. Follow is there. He was well above the rim.
Yeah, he was on that follow-up. I mean, you and I had a view right at it, and his head was over the rim.
Jalen Moore showing his athletic ability. He has 10 rebounds to go with 11 points. Watch this, chin above the rim on the rebound.
He misses this thing, and then I'm telling you, he was up there on that one.
6'9", 220 junior from North Logan, Utah. This team has played better since his brother Grayson entered the starting lineup. He's kind of the energy guy. The comment around their team was if you combine Jalen and Grayson, you'd have the ultimate basketball player.
That's that big-time NBA guy right there. But the big two for Utah State on the road are really carrying this team, not just in the scoring. So Smith is 6 of 12 from the field, 3 of 5 from 3, 23 points. He has 10 rebounds. So he's already got a double-double. And then Jalen Moore, who has 10 rebounds and 13 points, also with a double-double. So the two big guys both with double-doubles, and that's the difference for Utah State right now.
Colorado State 10 of 27 from 3. They've been hot and cold. Scott has had a huge game with 25. He's got it guarded by Rector. 3 on the way for Page. They needed that one and they get it. The redshirt freshman from Denver with a big 3.
So impressed as I've watched this Colorado State team on film with the young guys and the confidence they have. Both Prentice Nixon and J.D. Page. They come in, they just play with confidence, like they've been there their whole lives.
Cross court, Rector buries the 3 from the left wing. So the freshman stepping up to answer. He has 7. His first 3-pointer. Gillen inside. Good dish to Daniels off the Scott feed.
Oh, smart play by Antoine Scott. He was in there where if he tries to take it up, it's going to get blocked. A little wraparound pass, unselfish, and gets the easy bucket with the assist.
Baseline, Smith attacking the goal, and he lays it in. That is a season-high 25, and it ties a career high. Dillon is blocked out of bounds by Evans. We got a timeout. Still, Utah State keeping the Rams at arm's length in this one. The Aggies shooting 49% more high above the rim. Rector from distance, and they have 4 in double figures. Mountain West basketball, and a very young Rams fan hoping Colorado State can battle back, trailing by 10 here with 7:27 to go. This has been a well-played basketball game, Blaine. 8 turnovers total in this game.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, and these teams have hustled and played hard. We've had 22 made three-point shots in this game. 11 of 22 for Utah State, 11 of 28 for Colorado State. That sounds like it's not that great because of the way Utah State shooting, but heck, I'll take 39.3% from 3 all day long.
No doubt.
And Utah State's just doing a fantastic job at 50%.
Aggies made their last 3 shots. Colorado State 4 for their last 5 from the field. Daniels on the blocks. Left-handed hook is there for Teal Daniels. He carves out some space he's tough to deal with.
A good job of finishing there. And that was not bad defense.
He has a dozen. Smith to Evans for the lay-in.
Well, Utah State's offense the last 4 times down the floor has been really, really effective.
Boy, they look
precision, man.
They look like a Mountain West contender the way they're playing here on the road in a tough environment. Very sharp, a lot different than the team I got to see down in Albuquerque. Shows you how good this league can be. Scott on the drive, and he's fouled. Smith and Perry in there, and they're going to get Smith on the personal, and that's his 3rd.
So now you're going to have Chris Smith. You've got Moore, and you also have Evans with 3 fouls for Utah State.
How about this score? Wyoming is leading at New Mexico 50-46 second half. Figure this league out. 10 minutes to go.
I'm not going to try to figure it out until later in the year. Hey, on the other side of it for Colorado State, Scott is the only one with foul trouble, 3 fouls. And well, they cannot afford to have him have problems. But we're to that point now. 3 fouls, that's nothing. 7 minutes to go, we're good. Good to go. Be aggressive.
27 for Scott as Clavel cheers from the bench. 8-point game again. Aggies have had the answers, though, here in the second half. Smith on the drive, and a foul called on Page. That will be the 15th foul on the Rams.
See how you get that left arm? That's what we're seeing called all the time now. Players attacking, you stick that left arm up, try to get in and gain some advantage with the contact, and they're consistently calling it all year now.
Terry's had a big game. He drives amongst a couple players, throws up a wild shot. Scott the rebound. Scott for three. Along with that one, Decim the offensive rebound. They have won every offensive board, it seems, in the second half. Gillen got it from the corner.
And that's a huge payoff for a great hustle play on an offensive board. You get that offensive board, you got to capitalize. And what a big, big play for the Rams down the stretch.
13 for Gillen. He's 3 of 6 from 3. Smith answers for Utah State. Career high, 28.
How about 4 of 6 from 3? He's 8 of 14 from the field. What a great game for Chris Smith.
Here's Daniels. Almost throws it away. Desmond saves it in front of us. Here in the 5-minute mark. Page baseline drive. Misses the lay-in. It was right in front of him, and he overshot it. Perry. Daniels a rebound. Big trip here. Gillen's going to launch it. And he hits another one from about 30.
That was from the Bank of Colorado emblem on the floor, which isn't supposed to be anywhere near where somebody's shooting from.
16 for Gillen. He's at 4 of 7 from 3, and it's back to a 5-point game. We have seen some amazing long-range shooting in this one. Smith's going to drive it. Contact and a blocking foul called, and they're going to get Scott here, and it's a big one. That's number 4.
And for Scott, he was just a little late getting there with the help. Just a hair late to be there. See, I just arrived a little late, and he leaned that left side into Chris Smith. If he gets there a half a second earlier and gets set, he's going to draw a charge.
Scott looking over the bench, and Coach Eustace, he says, I'm all right. He's got a ram up at the scorer's table, about to check in. Will it be for Scott here? As Smith hits the free throw. Scott is going to stay on the floor. It'll be Nixon for Page.
So freshman for freshman, and he leaves his veteran and leading scorer out there. Scott with 27 points right now. He's 6 of 9 from 3.
And Smith has been the answer. He has 29. He gets 1 out of 2 from the stripe, 6-point game. In a hurry, it's Gillen, and he has it stripped.
Evans has had a big impact on this second half. He's had some key rebounds. He's had a couple of key blocks and a couple times where he's altered shots, and he knocked down back-to-back big shots for this Utah State team. He's had a big second half.
Jalen Moore for 3 from the left wing. Knocks it down. Why not? They are 13 for 25 from beyond the arc, and they extend it to 9 points. Moore was 16 now. Decim. Short. Smith another rebound. They have had an answer throughout the second half.
If you like offense and guys that can shoot it, you got to like this basketball game. If you're a defensive guy, first of all, you're boring, but secondly, you probably are not loving this game.
Well, they've defended. They just haven't been able to stop the torrid outside shooting.
This is crazy good shooting.
Rector leaning in, and that's a charge. It'll go the other way. Tim Duryea did not like the call, but it goes against Utah State. Under 4-minute timeout. Utah State shooting a blistering 13 of 25 from 3, 50% from the field for the game, and they lead it on the road. We're back in Fort Collins. We've had 6 lead changes. Utah State 13 of 25 from three-point land, and they lead by 9 points. They've led by as many as 11. 29 from Chris Smith, 27 from Antoine Scott. Do the Rams have another push in them here down the stretch?
You know, they've had those pushes at the end of the last 4 games when they've had to have it. They've got the shooters that can get it done. But here's the thing. It's not about offense for either of these teams right now. It's about which team can muster enough energy and want to step up and get a couple of stops down the stretch. So that's what it's about.
Scott playing with the 4 personal fouls, guarded by Perry. Gillen thought about the 3 from way out.
He is not going to shoot it from right there.
Scott against Perry. Nothing there. Shot clock down to 10. Nice screen set by Daniels. Gillen. Decimant. Off the mark. And the rebound for Rector, and he's fouled. Good defense from Utah State as Perry did a nice job locking up on Scott over there.
And that's a tough matchup. So much quickness in Scott, and it makes him such a good three-point shooter because you really have to play off him a little bit or he'll blow right by you. He's got so much quickness and he can take it off the dribble, and then with that range, when he's shooting like he is today, it's just really difficult to defend him.
Rector missing on the front end of the 1-on-1.
Oh, that's a big miss.
Here's Scott on the drive, and he's fouled on the floor. That's going to go on Perry, and that's his second. And that's team foul number 7, so now the Rams in the bonus, both teams with 7 personal fouls.
I don't remember the last time I did a game where the 2 teams combined shot 63s, and they're at 57 right now. I thought we're going to get to 60 attempts.
I would guess it would happen to be in the Mountain West Annals when maybe Jimmer Fredette was playing against somebody.
Jimmer would take that many himself. Not really.
3 minutes to go. Scott has been sensational. He had a big game at Boise State in a loss with 24. Has eclipsed that now with 29, and the lead is 7.
And what an efficient line for him, too. 6 of 9 from 3, 8 of 14 from the field, 29 points.
That is a career high.
He's been playing for quite a while now with 4 personal fouls. Just looked to the bench to Larry Eustachian and said, I got this, I know, I'm okay. And he has been.
Rector with a shot clock at 8. More for 3. In and out. There's Smith again on the offensive glass. How about Chris Smith with his 12th rebound?
Chris Smith has been a beast on the offensive glass for Utah State in this game.
And Gillen with the bucket. They draw him within 7 again, but Smith is only 6'4", and he's been doing blue-collar work down on the glass. Approaching 2 minutes to go now. If you're the Aggies, you want to burn a little clock here. Evans, who you've got to respect with his range, with 7 on the clock. It's into Rector's hands. Lost it for a moment. Smith for 3. Off the mark. He's got the rebound.
That's a tough one because when you wait till 6 seconds to get into your offensive set, if there's any problem and a loose ball that time, then you have to take a bad shot.
Gillen, 33rd 3 attempt. Off the mark. That's a Mountain West high this year, but they can't convert on it.
Well, that was a tough one. Rector was running at him, had a hand in his face. That was a tough one. Hotly contested 3 there that he tried to make.
Look at the 3-point numbers. And Utah State, a minute 20 from getting out of here with a huge road win. And Wisely will burn some clock and now call timeout. This looks like a completely different team from the team that went down to New Mexico and was handled easily by the Lobos. Leading here at Colorado State, and Tim Duryea knew the shots would start to fall, and they have fallen in this one.
Well, he's got a lot of guys that can shoot it, and they've just been a little bit up and down, and sometimes that's confidence. He's had to kind of go through a few different starting lineups, but I think this team understands now, this Aggie team understands their roles and who's who and where the shots are coming in that offense, and man, they are knocking them down today.
Colorado State's still within 7, and Larry Eustachian, he knows he needs to get some shots to fall from the outside, but if he can get a stop here, you can at least make it interesting, and you're going to have to have some misses at the free throw line.
They've got to get a stop. And, you know, when you've got a team that can make threes the way this team can, you're never really out of a game because you have the option to foul. And even if they make two, you can come down and gain a point. Because you can come down and knock down a three.
If you've just joined us, this has been an entertaining game. Each team with 13 made threes. Utah State shooting 49% from the field on the road, and they have gotten inspired efforts from Smith with 31 and 12 and Moore 16 and 12, couple double-doubles.
Impressive thing about Smith, of those 12 boards, 6 are on the offensive glass. And they all big offensive rebounds that gave Utah State second chance opportunities.
Shot clock at 8 for Smith. Driving against Nixon, step back jumper, got it.
What a game for Chris.
33, and he may have put this on ice with under a minute to go.
10 of 17 from the field.
Scott with the answer. On cue, now with 32, timeout Colorado State.
So the definition of contested shot is that one right there. Absolutely. He had 3 guys surrounding him, and he still knocks it down. Scott now with 32 points. He's 9 of 15, and how about a 7 of 10 effort from 3?
We're looking at 2 of the best efforts in the Mountain West this season from those two, Smith and Scott. And, you know, it's not just the scoring, as you mentioned. It's the complete stat line for each of those 2 players.
And how about the fact that Scott has 6 assists to go along with it? That's impressive.
All right, so Larry Eustace has it at a 2-possession game now with 52.2 seconds to go. He's used his timeouts.
And you mentioned a little bit ago, this is a remarkable number. This is another thing I don't remember in a long time seeing. Each of these teams has 5 turnovers. With 52 seconds left in a game that's been up and down the floor in high scoring, to have 10 total turnovers is a remarkable stat. Is that because there's been no defense being played, or because these guys have been good with the basketball?
Well, I think Utah State's playing with the momentum coming off the Air Force win, and then Colorado State is always good here at home, but yeah, that's not something you see very often.
No, and you know, it's when 2 teams are knocking down outside shots and you're not trying to throw it into the paint, that eliminates a lot of the turnover opportunities.
There's no full court pressure. Yeah. We're not playing a West Virginia type game here, but regardless, it's been a well-played game. Here's some full court pressure. Rector in the backcourt. Moore, they easily break it ahead to Perry.
Perry wisely brings it back out.
And a foul's going to be called here on Nixon. They're going to put Perry on the free throw line, a 71% free throw shooter this season.
To win on the road in a close battle, you've got to make free throws down the stretch to close out a team. And so that's what's going to happen with Utah State now.
And they miss the front end of the 1-on-1.
And that's back-to-back times down the floor for Utah State. They miss front ends.
Scott hits the 3, and it's a 1-possession game.
That's why you're never out of it when you got that guy on the floor. Are you kidding me?
35 points. He's at 8 threes. Now some pressure, and they almost throw it away. Going to the floor. The Rams have it. Scott to the floor, and we have a tie-up. He tried to get the timeout called. The possession arrow will point towards the Rams.
Yeah, so there was no timeouts left, and Larry Stacey said, no, we don't want a timeout. And he tried to call a timeout, but if they're calling it a jump ball, that would come before the timeout.
Rams basketball. Tim Duryea wanted the foul, and then he's also lobbying for there was a timeout call. He's not going to get either one of those answered the way he wants.
Yeah, if it was a tie-up before he signaled that timeout, I mean, it's all coming out and it's okay. I mean, this is what should happen. He made a great defensive effort. Look at this shot in transition.
Rams a chance to tie now with another triple. Will it be Scott again?
Oh,
He's feeling it.
He wants it.
Thought about it. 18 seconds to work with. Gillen, they're thinking 3. They go back door. Daniels the finish. They get within 1. Now they'll go full court pressure. And Smith is fouled with 11.3 to go. What a flurry from the Rams. They did have a final run in them. Will it be enough to win this one here?
Win or not, Larry Eustace has to be happy with the effort. This is 4 times in a row where they've been down the stretch, and his team will not give up. And so for Utah State, hey, this was about making free throws.
Man, the cardiac Rams.
They just left 4 points on the free throw line in the last 50 seconds.
And they're 14 of 19 for the game, but these are when they count. Smith got that one.
And don't think that when you step up there, if you're Chris Smith, you don't think, wait, the last 2 times my buddies stepped up here, they missed the front end of 1-and-1s. That weighs on your mind.
Rims it in, rolled around and goes, and a timeout Utah State. 3-point lead, 11.3 to go, and this has been a classic here. Early portion Mountain West season, this has had every part of the game you'd want. That's why the fans come to see basketball.
And this is one of those situations. Here's the question that's always asked, and there's people on both sides of this. With 11.3, do you force Colorado State to get it down into the front court and take up some of the time, and then foul them and put them on the line where they have no chance to make 3, or do you just defend straight up and say, hey, if they make a 3, so be it? My school of thought, I like to defend the perimeter, force them to take a tough shot and walk out rather than foul them.
Yeah, the old Dean Smith way of thinking was you defend the 3. If they make the shot, you just go and shake their hand and say good shot.
Yeah, you say good shot and you go into overtime. Because the worst thing that can happen is you go into overtime if that's the situation. You've got to pressure in the backcourt to force them to handle the ball right here and have that clock ticking.
And now we have a stoppage in play here. You're going to get the clock. It's at 8.4.
And you send Tim Duryea talking to Rector saying, hey, you got to pressure enough to force them to handle the ball. You can't let them pick this thing up halfway between the end line and half court. Make them catch the ball and put it on the floor.
Here comes Gillen with 10 seconds. And Gillen is fouled. And there's the foul by Rector to put him on the line. It'll be a 1-and-1. That was the 18th foul. That's one school of thought and a pretty good one. He was not in position to make a play towards the rim. Rector the personal.
Well, and Rector, that was, you really want to make the foul reaching with one hand for the basketball, use that other hand. That's taking too big of a chance. You can't be quite that obvious. And let's take a look at it, because the risk you have is that they get the free throws and the ball back.
Well, that could change the end of this one.
So you got to play the ball, and boy, that's close. And he had the opportunity to just cut right in front of him and foul him with no chance for him to make a shot. There's an art to the way you intentionally foul him at the end of a ball game.
8.8 seconds to go. Here's another look. Are you making a play for the ball here?
So is he making a basketball play? Is he making a play on the ball, or is he just grabbing him? And it made it look way worse because their feet got tangled up, and the old days when you used to kick somebody's foot and make their foot go behind their heel. That's what happened.
Well,
so
again, it's fast forward. That's not real time.
Yeah,
it
looked a lot worse than it really was.
So a 1-on-1 to Gillen, and he hits the front end.
And that's what you have to do. So Gillen does. He executes. You hit the front end, but there's still enough time that they can go ahead and make this and foul if they want to. They don't have to miss this one on purpose now.
And he is going to make it and draw within one. 8.8 seconds to go. Here's the full court pressure. Smith gets it in for Rector. He's fouled immediately by Decimant. We do it again.
See, the problem for Utah State is they allowed Colorado State to advance that ball so quickly that when they fouled, there's still 8.8 seconds left. Yeah. They just extended the game for them rather than force them to maybe turn here in the backcourt and take more time, so it took more off the clock. And so now, what does it come down to again? You got to make free throws.
Rector, first-year Aggie, has clinched 2 games with late game free throws already this year. 2 free throws coming, and he hits the first one. That was a 10th team foul.
That one bottom of the net. This is an important free throw because, again, then it makes it a 3-point ball game, and Colorado State can't win it on a game-ending shot.
Back iron, he gets his own rebound though, and he's fouled by Gillen. The long rebound, costly for the Rams there.
And that's just a killer. You could see I was watching Larry Eustace, and just the expression on his face, just that sinking feeling like, are you kidding me? After they've battled back like this, to have a free throw. The free throw was bad enough that it was a long, long rebound.
And here comes the big one. He can ice it right here in all likelihood with 7 seconds to go.
And if he does make it, the Aggies have to make sure that they do not foul.
And he got it. 4-point game, 7 seconds to go. Rector rebounding his own miss on the second free throw. And Utah State maybe 7 seconds away from getting out of here with a win.
Sometimes it's just a bad bounce that kills you. And for the Rams, that was not a good bounce.
Here's Gillen. 3 on the way. Short. Nixon the rebound, and that'll do it. Huge road win for Utah State, 96-92, as Tim Duryea evens up his conference record at 3-3. It was a beauty.
Well, we saw 2 of the best performances we've seen in this conference this year. On the winning side from Chris Smith with 35 points on 10 of 17 from the field and 11 of 12 from the free throw line, and then Scott for Colorado State. My heavens, what a great game. 35 points, 10 of 16 from the field, 8 of 11 threes, and 7 of 8 from the free throw line.
Really a well-played basketball game. As we mentioned, the low turnover numbers, 13 threes for Utah State. They shoot 50%, and it's just a sign of things to come in this conference. It's been a fun league so far.
It was a fun one. We've had 2 fun games this week, and that's what it's going to be all through the season in the Mountain West.
For Blaine Fowler, I'm Trey Bender saying so long from Fort Collins. To watch this entire game on replay as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Good night from Fort Collins.